We're joined right now on RealAgriculture.com by John Pape. John is better known as the CWB Monitor. Welcome today, John.
Good morning.
John, well, big day yesterday in Parliament. No matter what side of the issue you're on, the federal government introduced their, anticipated new CWB Act or bill, kind of laying a bit of the groundwork for the transition away from the single desk. I guess as you watched it yesterday, what were some of your first thoughts?
Well, actually, I didn't watch it. But when I got the material that has been floating around on it, my first thought is that it was a little more complicated than I was hoping for. But the more you dig into it, I think I understand why they have done it the way they have. I thought they would just simply repeal the Wheat Board Act and have a new one to enable the new entity for a while. But they're actually amending the Wheat Board Act for a period, and then they repeal it, and then they have what they call the Canadian Wheat Board Interim Operations Act, and they even contemplate that may not last, so they even have a portion of the act to actually repeal that at some point.
Yeah. Did you feel, were you surprised by the complete removal of the current board of directors?
No, I wasn't. I heard that was probably going to be on the as part of the plan. I assumed it was all the board of directors, but the way it came out was just the farmer elected ones.
Do you feel this is friendly? Were you surprised that this was sort of the government? They gave a continued 5-year guarantee to guarantee grain purchases. Does this give the CWB a bit of a chance?
I think this is exactly what the government has said they would do. So there's no surprises there. I'd heard 3 to 5 year transition period. I knew that the Wheat Board had said that they were going to ask for the government guarantees. I had also heard from the government sources, that they would be probably providing them with the government guarantees. I think that's about as much as the Wheat Board and its supporters should expect. I mean, at the end of the day, this thing has to be commercial and competitive. And I think that if the government were to provide more than that, I think you'd get some backlash from people saying that this is not a level playing field. I have talked to people within the grain trade, and they're not terribly enamored with the idea of a competitor emerging that has sovereign has debt at sovereign rates. But as one put it, he said, "I'll just have to put some water in my wine and get on with it." So I think that beyond what they are offering would be probably too much. So I think this is a good balance.
So the reaction from the CWB, they were saying a lawsuit. Does any of that have any sort of merit or wings or ability to really put any sort of stall into what the government's trying to do?
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. But and I've always been told by friends and colleagues that are lawyers that once you go to court, it's 50-50. Anything can happen. So I think to say it doesn't absolutely have wings or legs, I can't really say that. But from my perspective as a layman, I can't imagine any action, legal action in the courts, being able to take away the power of Parliament. I think Parliament is supreme. If, as they said yesterday in the House, they have the responsibility and the authority to enact laws and to modify them and to repeal them. And no previous Parliament can shackle a current Parliament. And so I kind of like that wording that in view of this, I think Parliament needs to be supreme, and I would hope that a judge would see that as well.
Yeah, and what would be the timeline on something like that? Chances are something like that doesn't go to court until after the August 1st deadline anyway, right?
Well, you know that the Friends of the Wheat Board have a court case pending.
Yes.
I think they first presented it to the courts in June, and it was a month or two ago that the court first heard the arguments, and now their court date is December 6th, I believe. So that's how long that took. And I think if the Wheat Board were to take the government to court, it's basically the same argument. They can either support the Friends of the Wheat Board, which I believe they are anyway, or take another swing at it. But basically, it's the same case. But you're right about the timeline. It would take quite a while.
In regards to the board, to removing the board of directors, are they going? They are going to keep the current 5 non-farmer board members then, or are they appointing 5 new directors? Period. They
never said. In anything I've read, they just said that they were going to reduce the board of directors to 5 government-appointed directors. It doesn't say that it will be the same 5 or new 5, and that the elected directors would all be removed.
Yeah, so that would obviously mean the removal of Chairman Alan Oberg then.
Correct.
What would be a reasonable response from them right now? Like, besides the lawsuit, is it time to is it time to wave the white flag a little bit here and start to focus on that transition plan? Or it seems that Chairman Oberg is willing to just go down in the big ball of flames here.
Well, I think he is. He and the other 7 board members that agree with him. I think that is the plan to fight this to the end. I heard his news conference from the 17th, the day before the legislation, and he was asked if he felt it was appropriate to spend farmers' money to fight this, and his answer is very quick, absolutely. And so they have served notice that they have every intention of fighting this. And I know the question has been asked. I've asked it on my blog. Is it really appropriate to spend farmers' money to fight them against their wishes? And I was even suggesting that they should allow farmers who want to see this change to opt out of the cost of the wheat board fighting it. I think that's only fair. Otherwise, they're using your money to fight against your interests.
Yeah, I've had several farmers that have I've seen tweets or even a couple have emailed me saying, I would love to be able to opt out of this.
Well, and I think that I'm not a lawyer, but there could be a class action case on that alone, I think.
Yeah.
So you asked me the question, is it time to toss in the white flag, toss in the towel? I think it is, but that's just from my perspective, and I have my perspective is that this is a good change for farmers. It's a good change for agriculture. So I think that anything that gets in the way or slows it down is a frustration, and it just adds to the craziness over the next few months.
Well, if you look at what Doug Chorney and the Keystone Egg Producer Group did, basically saying, hey, you know what, we want to work with government to make sure that we enact change that's good for farmers, not basically pound our fists and go crazy here and not be somewhat diplomatic. And obviously you saw their announcement the last couple of weeks and the criticism they've taken from the NFU. So it really appears that there are some that are taking very much more of a methodical or a diplomatic point of view on this.
Well, CAP is in an interesting position. They have members that support the wheat board, and they have members that don't support the wheat board or the single desk. And so I think that their rationale is very sound, that they can't take action one side of or the other and still satisfy their membership base. So really the right approach is to be neutral and to work toward whatever is the best solution. And I think that showed a lot of leadership on their part. The NFU, on the other hand, I think basically you join the NFU because you are pro wheat board, pro single desk, that kind of market structure, and so they don't have the same dichotomy in membership, and so they have the luxury, I guess, if you will, of being very, very firm on their position. As the Friends of the Wheat Board, same thing. They have a very definite position on this. CAPA is in a different situation. I think what they did was absolutely the right thing to do.
Okay, John. Well, thank you very much for your insight on the CWB issue as always, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Anytime. Thanks, Sean.